Israel's war cabinet is meeting to discuss a possible major military operation in Rafah in southern Gaza, despite growing calls against it. Israel says it hopes to launch an assault on remaining Hamas battalions in Rafah. Aid groups and Western allies have warned Israel not to carry out a full-scale attack. More than 1 million displaced people are taking shelter in Rafah. As part of its invasion, Israel is planning to evacuate civilians out of the city. Well, satellite images show 2 new tent encampments in southern Gaza, one at a site to the west of Khan Yunis and another site near Rafah. By comparing this satellite image from the 7th of April with this image from the 23rd of April, we can see the tents were put up this month. Meanwhile, Hamas have released a video appearing to show an Israeli-American hostage, Hersh Goldberg-Polin, in captivity. The short, undated video showing the man in his early 20s missing his lower arm. He was shown saying he had sustained serious injuries during the October the 7th attack. There's been anger in Jerusalem, with some gathering near Prime Minister Netanyahu's official residence. Demonstrators have been calling on the Israeli government to do more to secure an agreement to release the hostages. There were also clashes between police and protesters. And the police also had to escort far-right Israeli National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir to his car through the crowd of chanting protesters. Well, Hersh Goldberg-Polin's parents have responded to the video of their son pleading for negotiating parties to reach a deal.
My name is Rachel, and this is John, and we are the parents of Hersh Goldberg-Polin, an American-Israeli civilian who was kidnapped into Gaza 201 days ago.
Seeing a video of Hersh today is overwhelming. We're relieved to see him alive, but we are also concerned about his health and well-being, as well as that of all of the other hostages and all of those suffering in this region. And we're here today with a plea to all of the leaders of the parties who have been negotiating to date. That includes Qatar, Egypt, the United States, Hamas, and Israel. Be brave, lean in, seize this moment, and get a deal done to reunite all of us with our loved ones and to end the suffering in this region.
And Hersh, if you can hear this, we heard your voice today for the first time in 201 days. And if you can hear us, I am telling you, we are telling you, we love you, stay strong, survive.
Our diplomatic correspondent James Landale spoke to me earlier. He explained more about those plans for a military assault on Rafah.
Tent cities are being built to try and have a place where civilians can go during this military operation, where there are reports of senior Israeli officials meeting with their Egyptian counterparts in Cairo, because clearly there is a huge risk for Egypt that this conflict, this operation, spills over into Egypt. We know that a couple of battalions of Israeli army reservists have been mobilized. But that said, the Israeli government has still yet to decide how and when it's going to carry out this operation. That's one thing they're discussing today. We also know that Israel's allies have not yet given any support for this, particularly the United States. Jake Sullivan, the US National Security Advisor, said last night that, look, the US and Israel are still talking about this, and he said there are different ways of dealing with the threat of Hamas in southern Gaza. So the Americans have yet to give any kind of green light. And I think the key thing to understand is that this is going to be a process. It's going to take some time to move hundreds of thousands of people out of Rafah into some tent sort of humanitarian islands, to use the Israeli language. That's not going to happen quickly. And any military operation, that's not going to happen quickly. So I think what we're expecting is some more of a process rather than a one-off event.
Yeah, and James, what reaction has there been to the release of the video of the hostage Hersh Goldberg-Polin?
Well, as you said, almost instant demonstrations here in Jerusalem. Once again, people taking to the streets to say, look, this is just a reminder to the Israeli government that they need to focus more, in their view, on the hostage situation and not just on the taking the fight to Hamas. Now, that many people here are interpreting was precisely why this hostage video was released, was once again for Hamas to try and put some pressure back on the Israeli government, not just because that's what they want to do, but also maybe to say to the Israelis, look, these hostages are still alive. If you want to do a deal, let's talk. Let's see if we can get something agreed. Thus far, it's proved impossible. But the aim is to put pressure back on. Also, a hint that maybe Qatar was saying to Hamas, look, you need to show another proof of life video just to get the ball rolling again.
Well, talking of the ball rolling again, what is happening? Are there any sense of any talks resuming when it comes to a ceasefire hostage deal?
No, not at the moment. It just seems that both sides are too far apart on all the substantive issues. How long should there be a cessation, a pause in the fighting? Who amongst the Palestinian prisoners should be released and when? Which hostages should be released and when, and and in what order? All of those issues they've yet to reach any kind of agreement on. And at the moment, with the focus in recent days having been on the clash between Iran and Israel, and now the focus returning to Rafah, the expectation is that those talks on any kind of ceasefire or a hostage release are going to be put on hold unless something can change.